Hello again, folks. This is Sula speaking. Welcome to another video for Teamfight Tactics. So this footage is taken from a normal game. This was actually recorded shortly after the most recent B patch came out, but I finally got around to recording it and turning it into a video now. This game was noteworthy for what I'm going to call the AFK opener. So what you're going to see here in a short period of time is I started this game, and then shortly after the game began, I had to step away from my computer for about a minute or so. I think it's like between 1 and 2 minutes, when I really did not want to, but just had to step away for a moment. And so I end up having to skip a couple of rounds here in the early game, which is not what you want to do. You don't really want to be unable to play the game when you're on the early rounds, in part because they're really important rounds. And then the rest of this game is me trying to make the best of the situation that I was in. All right, so what you're going to see here is I end up getting 3 Ziggs in the store. So I'm going to go ahead and put in Poppy and Ziggs. And then I have to step away from the computer here. So like for the next 2 minutes, I am AFK, and the game is just running itself. Now, the good news is that I was able to get that 2-star Ziggs in, because otherwise I would have had a decent chance of wiping on some of these minion rounds. But fortunately, I've got the Ziggs in there and the Poppy. And then I will auto level to level 3, and I believe Darius will go in automatically here as well. Excuse me. So I'm not here to pick the augment. That's kind of a big deal. You generally want to be able to pick your first augments. It's the most important one in terms of providing direction for your game. I don't know what I would have picked here. I probably would have just taken Weak Spot if I were picking here, because that's pretty flexible. Scrap Crest, not bad either. I do have like kind of a bodyguard opener, so that wouldn't be bad. But as it turns out, if you don't select anything, the game just auto-selects something for you. And the good news is the game is going to auto-select Metabolic Accelerator. Your Tactician moves faster and heals 2 health after a PvP round. And this is a good choice because, as mentioned, I am not here at the game, so I'm going to be losing some rounds. I have not picked up the orb from the previous round. I'm not able to buy any of the champions in the store. Although, fortunately, one of the loot orbs goes onto my little legend, and I actually get the glove to pop out. But, like, I can't buy the Darius, I can't buy the Ezreal units that I almost certainly would have ended up purchasing. So, yeah, and I'm still level 3. And I have not had a chance to buy any champions in the store or alter my board. So, like I said, you don't really want to be AFK away from your keyboard when this is going on. But the good news is this could have been a lot worse. I actually have a kind of a playable start here. I have like 2 out of 3 Yordles. I have some bodyguard units. Like, my board is not completely terrible thanks to the 2-star Ziggs and having 2 bodyguard units. It's not like I just have a single 1-cost unit in there, so I'm definitely not going to win this round. Like, this board is definitely stronger than what I have, but I mean, it's not like a total disaster as it could have been. This could have been significantly worse. So I believe right around now is when I'm finally able to get back to the computer, and I actually get a Leona that pops out here, so I was like, interesting, Leona. So that means I have the possibility of maybe playing into 4 bodyguards. I also should pick up the Lulu here, but I don't think I even realized that I had 2 out of 3 Yordles on the board because I didn't remember what units I had from missing those rounds. So I can, do some stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and level so I can get scrap in. And then I was like, I guess I'm playing through the Ziggs in this game because I have nothing else. I have no units that really deal damage. I've got all these bodyguards and I've got the Ziggs. So I was like, I guess that I'll play 4 bodyguards, I guess, because that's kind of what I have here. I don't think 4 bodyguards is especially good in the game right now, but that's kind of what I have. So I'm going to go ahead and look to do that and just roll with the fact that I have this Zigg. So make the Spear of Shojin, which is actually a pretty good Ziggs item. His mana cost, I think his mana cost on his bomb is 60 mana. So he's like right at the breakpoint between where blue buff versus Shojin are about the same value. They're both roughly about the same. I guess in a short fight, blue buff's better. In a long fight, Shojin is better between the two. And so I'm going to make that. And then I've got this leftover glove. And the other thing that's working in my advantage is I did get an augment that was kind of good for this situation. I've got the metabolic boost ticking away in the background, so that's going to heal me for 2 HP after each PvP round. Originally, this augment healed you on minion rounds as well, but it was nerfed so that it does not do that anymore. Back in set 6, they made that change. So now I finally have the chance to look at some of these other boards, and I was like, oh, okay, someone's got gold built different. This person's going into strikers. Let's see. Someone's got Chemtech, binary airdrop on this person, portable forge. They've taken the Mana Zane and thieving rascals, but playing mercenary. So, okay, I don't know what that last person's doing, but some pretty solid options from the other players here in the lobby. This person I'm pretty sure I'm not going to beat because they've got the weak spot in there, and that is something that counters my bodyguard frontline pretty well. Also, Ziggs is all my damage, so if Ziggs dies, then I pretty much auto-lose the fight because then I've got a bunch of tanks, and Tryndamere was able to get in the back line. So, doesn't look like this is going to be a win. And hey, at least I'm getting good value from Metabolic Boost because I'm losing these rounds, taking damage, and that then means that I'm going to be able to get some health back at the end of each round. Now, you could make a good case that what I should have done was just play Yordles. Since I'm healing after each round, get that 2 HP back. Just play Yordles, go full econ. Don't attempt to try to win rounds, but I almost always prefer to try and actually win the rounds, even though this means I've gone lost, win, lost. And this is probably the wrong move from an economic standpoint. Like, I'm not disagreeing with that. I probably should have looked to play Yordles and just full loss streak and then rely on the fact that I'm getting extra health per round. But kind of runs against my playstyle. I also wanted to get the 4 bodyguards in because I had the components for it. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'm not exactly rich right now, but it certainly could be worse. So there we go, 4 bodyguard, 2 scrap. Ziggs has good Ziggs items, if there is such a thing as good Ziggs items. He's one of the worst units in the set. But if there is such a thing as good Ziggs items, he has them with the Shojin plus the Jeweled Gauntlet. So this is definitely a comp that has to play into some kind of spellcaster. I have AP items, so I'm going to need to play into some kind of spellcaster, whether that is Victor, which would be most ideal. These are like perfect Victor items, but of course he's not going to be the easiest unit to find. So whether that is Victor, whether that is Renata or Ari, those are probably the main options that we're looking at here. In theory, these, and by the way, look at that bomb. That bomb crits and just deletes the back line there. So yeah, apparently I'm actually not that weak. Now that I've got the 4 bodyguards plus the 2-star Ziggs with these items, I'm not actually that weak. But yeah, so I'm going to look to, you know, try to play this board, and I'd love to run Arcanist or something like that for the time being. I also have the option to play this... Nar, who it probably should be the next unit in, because it'll give me a rank of the Spotlight and make the Yordle trait. So that probably should be the next unit in, but I can't remember if I hold this unit or sell it because my econ is not very good from going lost, win, and also because I was AFK for those initial rounds, I wasn't able to pick up the loot orbs, which might have been able to get me to like 10 gold earlier. So there was the potential to maybe start hitting income breakpoints a little bit sooner. All right, this is the built different person. So this is the person playing gold built different, which means that all their units, as long as they're not playing traits, they get extra attack speed and extra health on their units. So, I mean, this usually if you have built different, you want to win streak through the early game. This person doesn't seem to be doing that from what I can tell. And that Warwick's ramping up, but fortunately, Ziggs is able to pop the Warwick before it's able to keep healing. And much to my surprise, looks like I'm actually going to win this round. I was like, wow, okay. I guess the bodyguards did do pretty well against that setup. So narrowly win a round, and I'm actually not in such bad shape right now. I mean, econ's still pretty scuffed, but not in terrible shape. Then here, I see that there's a Malzahar, and I believe I sell the Nar to pick up Malzahar because I decided I'd play Malzahar as the next unit in for... because I get Arcanist trait, and Malz is just generally a good unit. I think in retrospect, if I were to play this again, I would just look to play the Nar instead, because I do think that having Yordles in would be a good idea here to make some more money. My economy was not especially great in this situation, and I mean, I was already playing Poppy and Ziggs. It's like, if you're going to play 2 out of 3 Yordles, you might as well play the last one. And Nar is probably the best Yordle I can play. By the way, look what I get, another Rod here. So it's like, okay, I guess we're just full playing through the Ziggs. And then I also get a bow, which is a bit less useful for the setup I'm running here. I do get a Reforger here, so I think I actually Reforger the bow, if I remember this correctly. I also have 3 pairs on my bench, which is never quite what you're looking for, but if I can hit an extra copy of some of these units, that would certainly be nice. And hey, at least I get up to 30 gold here. I definitely can't level early to level 6 because Econ not so hot right now. But Yordles would help with that, and Yordles would probably also give me Poppy 2-star, which is another reason why I should probably be looking to play that. As far as comps out there, one person's on full win streak with the Innovators board, and I think that that's the one I was paying most attention to. I have no clue what that person who is running Thieving Rascals and running Mercenaries is doing. I just have absolutely no idea what their board is doing. And then this person's playing some kind of striker team composition. So one nice thing about getting a rod and putting it on Ziggs is he will roll a scrap item. And like in this round, he's decided to roll Archangels, which is certainly not bad. So he actually has quite a lot of AP at the moment. I mean, his bombs are kind of blowing people to bits in this game for this early on. Obviously, this is not going to scale. Ziggs is one of the worst units in the game. But for stage 2, early stage 3, he's actually kind of doing work here, which is much to my own surprise, believe me. So here I have the decision, do I want to level? I am on a 3-match win streak, so I probably should think about it. I'm trying to remember if I actually did that here. It looks like I did not because I was aware of how weak my economy was, and I was trying to do my best to recover that, since I think I would drop down under 30 gold if I leveled here, so I think I hold off for the time being. I certainly would like to hit another pair of hit one of my pairs, since most of my board is like 1 unit away from being paired. All right, so I am up against this person's playing. Oh, this is the binary airdrop person, and they are playing Yordle, so they're going to have some additional money. They're playing through that Malzahar, who unfortunately for us has rolled a static shiv as his extra item, which is quite good. It's going to give extra attack speed, and more importantly, it's also going to keep debuffing the MR of my team. So yeah, we get popped pretty quickly there. If there's any good news, it's that I think that I probably would not have won even if I was level 6. Don't think I would have won that round anyway. And hey, now we get more metabolic value. All right, out of these options, I don't really want 4-score. I might not get the champs I want. I'd rather have an actual augment. Back foot, not bad. Units that are in the back rows get extra attack speed. I decide, though, ultimately, I think I'd prefer Meditation 2 here. Your units without items equipped restore 7 mana per second. I thought that since I only had items on Ziggs, literally every single other unit does not have an item on them. I think I decided that I would just rely on Meditation, providing extra mana generation to all of the other units. And so I will deliberately try not to itemize a lot of my units. I want to concentrate all my items on like 1 or 2 units so that I can get full value out of Meditation. It's basically the opposite of running Scrap, and I would say this doesn't synergize great with the Scrap trade I'm running right now, because with Scrap, you like want to spread out your item components so that you can roll more Scrap items. With this, with Meditation, you want one or two units to hold them all so that the units that don't have items will get the Meditation benefit. But it's basically like getting Scholar's Trait for free on all my other units. Actually, a little bit better than Scholar's Trait. This is 7 mana per second. Scholar's 2 is 5 mana per second. Scholar's 4 is 10 mana per second. So it's like halfway between Scholar's 1 and Scholar's 2. All right, so here is that person who I cannot figure out what the heck they're doing with the Thieving Rascals plus Mercenaries. Really bizarre setup. Maybe they misclicked or something. They're obviously trying to get a big cash out, but they have not committed any of their items yet. So I mean, they're pretty rich, but they're also on 34 HP, so they're going to need to cash out soon, or they are going to be out of this game in a real hurry. It is a normal game, so maybe they just don't care about stuff like that, but, it is what it is. All right, so I have 3rd pick on the carousel. I also run super duper fast, so that's a plus. So I get to choose whatever I want here, and I'm going to take the belt. Now, I can't remember if I was picking this for Morello's or if I had something else in mind. It's been, I think, like about a week since I played this game. One of the things that I've learned since this game was played, which was early in this B patch being released, is that Syndicate's really not especially strong in this patch version. So, okay, I do go ahead and make the Morellos, which, again, is not a bad choice. I can definitely get value out of that. But anyway, I was looking at this point to play into Syndicate because I had the Darius and... yeah, honestly, I had bodyguards, that's why, because Syndicates tends to play into bodyguards, but I've definitely become much more sour on the Syndicates since playing this game. The statistics in this patch have Syndicates just not being especially strong at the moment. They were really strong in the non-B version of this patch, and then they got nerfed pretty hard. Like Ashe got nerfed pretty hard. People were playing Ashe reroll, it was super strong. And yeah, they're just not what they were before that B patch came out. By the way, in this match, the Tryndamere spins on my backlines and just absolutely deletes the Ziggs. And again, I really have like no damage outside of the Ziggs, so not quite what I was looking for. Especially after I leveled to 6 on the previous round. I was hoping I could win streak a little bit from there, but no, not happening. So Syndicate's just not that great. A bunch of the Syndicate units have really low placement rates in the statistics, and I trust that that data is accurate. So just not really a comp you should be looking to go into unless you'd be hitting just a ton of Syndicate units. And that's not really what's happening here. You can see I don't exactly have a ton of Syndicates. So unless you're like really high rolling the comp, I would not suggest trying to force it. From here with these items, honestly, probably the best thing to play would be look to try to find Victor and then look to play like Bruisers plus Chemtech with Renata as like the other option. But these are great Victor items, so that's what I should really be trying to look to play here. Some kind of setup with that. Use like Malzahar as the temporary item holder until you can find potentially Victor and play Bruisers plus Chemtech plus him in the long run. But that's not the direction this comp ends up going, and it makes for a more interesting video in the long run anyway. This match is up against which player is this? This person is running some kind of Innovators plus Yordle board. They have Rich Get Richer, it looks like, so they are super duper rich, and they are beating me, so they are both richer than me and stronger than me, which is not a good combination. It's not where you want to be, let's just put it that way. So definitely another board I have to be concerned about. And even though I was looking kind of strong there at the end of stage 2, beginning of stage 3, now my board is falling off pretty hardcore because where are all my damage items? Oh yeah, they're on a Ziggs. And Ziggs is one of the worst units in the game. His ult is not reliable, so he just does not do enough damage to keep pace. So I'm going to have to move these items onto some other kind of unit. Probably Malzahar, if I can find the 2-star Malz. That would upgrade my board by an awful lot. Alright, so I also am getting some tank items here. So that's pretty good. And oh, we hit 2-star Malz. So that's some nice RNG. So let's move out of the Ziggs. Going to move into Morgana. And then I can also start looking to move into Syndicate. So I'm going to put the tank items on Morg. So let's go ahead and do that. And then I'll put the caster items on Malzahar. Once again, blue buff a little bit better on Malzahar. Than a little bit better to have blue on him than the Shojin. But not bad. Not bad by any means. And apparently I decided to roll here because I had so many pairs. I had 4 pairs again. I was trying to hit on some of these pairs because with all these 1-stars, I did not think my board would be strong enough. But then I got down to 40 gold and decided to stop for the time being. So if I can 2-star the Morgana, I definitely would feel a lot better. She does not have Enchanter trait in at the moment, so that's a bit of an issue. And you're seeing Aurelia just tear right through my team. At the time, I didn't really know too much about that, but by now, everybody's familiar that Aurelia really overtuned in this patch. And even though she's been nerfed in the last 3 consecutive patches, everybody's playing through Aurelia right now. This was early on before people were quite aware of that. But yep, Aurelia, even 1-star, even without full itemization, just rips right through my team. And there's a Victor, so I 100% need to grab this Victor. I should just be looking to play into the Victor, but I think that I don't do a great job of that. Like, these items really should go onto Victor. And he is the unit that I'm going to have to be playing through. But I get a Renata, and again, I could look to convert into Renata Bruisers here, but still got all these bodyguard units. So, yeah, and I'm trying to make decisions. It's like, do I want to play the... It's like, do I want to play the 3 bodyguards? The 3 bodyguards feels super awkward, but like if I take out Darius, I'm going to lose Syndicate trait. The awkward thing for me here is the bodyguards that I've actually hit are not Syndicates. I've hit Leona 2-star and Blitzcrank 2-star, but they're not Syndicates. So, like... I would sell them, ideally, to get more Syndicates in or to get, like, the Senate in for Enchanter, but then I'd be losing my best units, so yeah. Oh, well. At least I do have Malzahar 2-star, and I do have the Victor long-term. So, like, again, these items will be really good on Victor long-term if I can get the Shojin and the Jeweled Gauntlet onto him. And, oh, this is close! Good job, Malz. Just barely wins that fight. Again, for econ purposes, it might be better to lose that fight, but, you know, don't want to lose too much health, even with Metabolic giving me a little bit of extra health per round. Don't want to just keep losing rounds at this stage of the game. We're at the point of the game where you really do need to start winning rounds as opposed to losing them. So we'll go from there and see what works. So I am not in a great place in this game, economically speaking. I'm level 7. I've been rolling on level 7. I still don't feel like my board is especially strong. And I'm in a position where I won't really be able to go level 8 until probably the end of stage 4, which is not what I want because other people are going to go level 8 and then they're going to roll down and hit better units. So here I get a tier, and that's pretty nice. Definitely more useful than a bow. So that can maybe be used for a potential blue buff eventually. Something like that is my hope, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. You're also seeing that the bodyguards really are not doing all that much. It's like, yeah, I have these bodyguards in, but do they really hold up? Not that well. Again, bodyguards just not that strong in the current version of the patch, and I think it really shows here. All right, so I'm going to get second pick on this carousel. There is a 5 gold Kaisa here on the carousel, so I believe that that's the... or Kaisa with a 5 gold tier, so I believe that that's what I end up taking here. There we go. So that's going to make a blue buff. And I can be in a situation where I can put like Shojin on Victor and then like blue buff on an Ari. So I think that that's kind of the way I'm going here. Again, probably should be looking to play more so into Renata, but I had the bodyguards and I was kind of fixated on playing bodyguards plus Syndicate in a way that I don't know if I would do if I was playing the game right now. But there's an Ari, so that's not bad. I definitely can look to play her. I will have Mauls hold these for the time being. Mauls is going to have to be sold, of course, to transfer these items, but for the time being, he's the best holder of this. So he has crazy mana generation with blue plus Shojin, but he doesn't actually have that much in the way of damage. So my comp is severely lacking in damage right now. I'm also hurting because my tank items are on a Morgana, but Morgana does not have Enchanter trait, and she's only 1 star. So that's also kind of a problem. I transferred those items over to Morg in the expectation that I was going to hit 2-star version of her because I already had 2 out of 3. And I did not then get the 3rd version. So, yeah, not so great. So I'm running bodyguards, but I'm also not tanky. Which is like, yeah. Morgana really needs a couple ranks of enchanters to get her shields strong enough that they actually do something. So without that, she's just not strong enough. And you can see what's happening. I'm just losing these rounds, and I'm losing health all over the place here. But I didn't feel like I could go to level 8 because I didn't have the money for it. I rolled on 7 because I wasn't very strong, but then I still wasn't able to stabilize even after rolling on 7, which was not a good situation. All right, here I get some different choices. Archangels is tempting for maybe Ari. It's good for her, but look at this. Makeshift armor. And by the way, I guess I decided I had to roll a little bit more to try to stabilize here. I did want to try to get to level 8, so I didn't want to roll too much here, but I also didn't feel like I was very strong. Anyway, my augment choice is just perfect, though. I already am not itemizing most of my units, so they get the meditation value. Now they're also going to get the makeshift armor value, which I believe is like 50 armor and 50 magic resistance. So this is just a fantastic augment for me. Really, really, really good choice based on what I'm running here. So it was certainly a good fit for what I had. But I also think it was a smart decision to make this. And then now like Leona and Blitzcrank and Darius, who don't have items, will get extra armor and magic resistance. And so my front line is going to get a lot tankier, which is what I need because Mauls does not kill things very fast. And Victor needs a bajillion years to charge up his enormous mana bar so that he'll actually cast in these fights. I still don't feel like I'm especially strong, but at least the potential is there. I have the potential to start getting a little bit stronger here. Now that said, I don't think that I beat this Chemtech board with Tom and with an Infinity Edge, not Infinity Edge, with a Triforce item on the Tryndamere. Like, I'm getting shredded pretty good here. So, yeah, definitely need to get stronger, but at least now I'll be level 8 and can roll. I'll be able to go to level 8 and actually roll on level 8, where maybe I'll be able to find another Victor or something. I guess I still need to technically find 2 Victors, but would be nice. And hey, I did find 2 Aris, so I'm getting there. Like, I'm getting closer to the pieces for my comp. I just need to actually put it together, because stage 4 was kind of a disaster. I lost an awful lot of health, and I still don't feel like I'm in an especially strong position. So you see, I go ahead and sell the Mauls. I'm confident that I can make my board before the end of this, before the start of the next stage. And now I'm going to wait to see what I hit here as far as where I commit my other items. Shojin, 100% is going on Victor. The question is, do I want to put the Jeweled Gauntlet on him or on Ari? Obviously, Jeweled Gauntlet's better on Victor if he casts. The problem is, does he actually cast in the fight? Because if he doesn't cast, then it's not going to matter how good his itemization is. And then I end up getting the items for a Gunblade. So I was like, all right, well, that's playable. So I think I can get to 5 Syndicates now. So we're going to be able to get some of these units in. I've also got a Renata to think about, so that's a possibility. I'm still rolling here. I was like, can I find a Braum? All right, there's a Braum. So now I need to start getting some of my other units in. So that gets us to 5 syndicate. We still have 3 bodyguard, which is too many bodyguards. So Renata for scholar. I want scholar because this is a spellcasting comp, is what I'm looking for here. And now I need to finish putting items on. I really need to get 2-star Ari. I really need to get... so I'm going to itemize... by the way, I decided to itemize the Ari because I was able to get the Gunblade, which I think is good for her. Again, might have been better to put the Jeweled Gauntlet on Victor. Probably would have been better to put the Jeweled Gauntlet on Victor. But I thought that I'd be able to 2-star Ari, and I thought it would be ages before I could 2-star the Victor. Anyway, this fight, again, looks promising, but we're up against Aurelia. Aurelia overpowered in this patch version, so she just shreds through everything, and it's not close. I also would very much like to replace Jhin. Jhin does not fit this comp because I'm not playing Ashe. With no items, Jhin is not going to do a whole lot. By the way, I do find a Jinx, but I don't really see any way to get that in the comp. So I'm going to play the Orianna. Ori is a better unit to play here. I hit 2-star Renata, so that's not bad. And then I hit 2-star Ari and get another Braum. And I do find a Tom Kench, but that's not going to be useful. And then I hit the 2-star Ori. So after not hitting for ages, suddenly I hit just about everything there. I've hit everything now except Braum and Victor, but I don't really expect to hit Victor at this stage of the game. So, yeah, we're kind of in business, and I felt like my comp, I felt like I finally had put the comp together. Like, at this point, I finally had something playable. The problem is I'm on 23 HP. I've kind of lost all of my health. By the way, there you see why I was hesitant to itemize Victor too much. He gets jumped on by Kha'Zix, and he just dies instantly, so he never gets a chance to cast. So that's why I was a little hesitant to put that on him. Ari, yeah, also not able to win this, and we dropped down to 10 HP. So I was like, well, I'm in 7th place. I am on 10 HP. I actually feel like my board is pretty good at this point in time, but it's not going to matter if I just lose. If I lose the next round, I'm going to be out of the game. I will take 10 damage, and I will be out of the game. So, yeah, I see the Aris, but I don't have the money to try to go for Ari 3-star. This is basically the board I have right now, and I have to try to make do as best I can. As I said, I think this is actually a pretty good board. It's just I haven't made it until I'm almost dead, and that's the problem. So I wasn't able to do a lot of scouting on the previous rounds because I was so focused on having to fiddle with my own team. But now that I've kind of hit my units, I think that I can focus on positioning. And I decided that right-hand side was probably better for this particular fight. Now, the good news is I've hit somebody who looks like they're trying to go to level 9. This person, Crinny, who has the binary airdrop, and it looks like they have Jeweled Lotus Augment. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to go to level 9. So Ori gets off a good ult. Victor finally gets to cast and does a good bit of damage, even with no items other than the Shojin on him. So we're going to be able to... Looks like we've got this one. And hey, I've won at least one round. I've staved off defeat for one particular round. And if this person on 7 HP goes out, I will at least be no worse than 6th. So there we go. They're out of the game. They were trying to reroll for 3 stars, and it looks like they were able to hit them. Or were not able to hit them. Okay, so I get first carousel priority. So, of course, I could take a death cap for Victor, but there's a better item here, and that's the Shroud. Late game Shroud of Stillness, so powerful. And my thinking is the only way I'm going to be able to win these late game fights is if I can position a Shroud effectively. I need to get this on enemy teams, because that's going to do the most to help me win rounds. Not Victor doing more damage when he casts. That's nice, but that's more of a luxury. I need to get Shrouds off on these teams. By the way, a lot of Jinxes here, but no way I can fit a Jinx into this team comp. So I'm really rolling here for Braum 2-star. I think if I could hit Braum, my front line will stabilize. And oh, I actually do manage to hit that. So you can probably look to go to level 9 after that. All right, so we've got a couple different boards here. We've got an Aurelia Socialite board. We've got a reroll board. And we also have someone else who's playing Syndicates, by the way. Or no, never mind, not playing Syndicates. That person with the 3-star Ashe was running Built Different. All right, so this is up against the... Oh, this is the Built Different player that I'm hitting right now. I was paying attention to this comp. I decided I had to shift away from the Warwick because, I need Ari. Ari needs to have time to ramp up in this fight. So we need Warwick to just be on the other side of the board. And this is looking pretty close. Warwick does not have a Quicksilver Sash, but he does have a Dragon's Claw, which is going to protect him from AP damage. So it's like, oh, man, this is really scary, but can we manage to cut through? Whew! That was close. Warwick was very close to just killing my whole board, and then I would have been out of the game in what was it, in 6th place. So, yep, that was a tense moment, but I was able to hit that. All right, so we get another round, and we live to fight another day. Note that there's multiple people playing Aurelia on the spotlight. So I'm like, what I absolutely have to do in these rounds is I have to position Morg on the left-hand side so that she shrouds these people, and hopefully that Aurelia will get stuck on the Bramble Vest on Morgana. That's what I need to do. So there we go. We're going to position the spotlight, the shroud to hit that spotlight. And I need any of these Aurelia players to get stuck on Morg's Bramble Vest. That's the only way I'm going to win these fights. So keep an eye on that Aurelia. All right, she's going to charge on Morg, and she's going to charge on Morg. And Morg just barely survives long enough. So Aurelia's still alive, but we've done a lot of damage. And oh, she gets popped right at the end of the fight. So now I need Ari to survive. She does have that Gunblade, so she's going to keep healing. She has Syndicate, so she's going to heal off that. And oh, she goes down to like 5% health, but she's staying alive, staying alive. Oh, that was a close fight. Now, I might have actually been able to lose that round and survive, but I didn't want to test that. Really did not want to test the fact of whether I would survive that. So I'm able to win the round, and hey, I've still got Metabolic Boost. So I'm still getting 2 HP back after these PvP rounds. So you know what? If I can hang in there a little bit longer, maybe I can out-survive some of these players. Maybe if we get knocked out on the same round, I can win the health tiebreaker because I'm getting that just a little bit of health back after each round. I went down to 10 HP, now I'm at 18 HP because I'm on on like a 3-match winning streak or something like that. So yeah, just gotta hang in there. Now, I would love to play Jin as my last unit. I'd love to get Clockwork in, but I don't think I'm getting to 9 in this game. I think it's a little risky to try to do that. And really what I want is Victor 2-star. Like, that's what makes my board stronger. So I actually do find another Victor, so now I'm like, oh, can I survive to the carousel and maybe take Victor 2-star off this carousel? It's 3 rounds away, but maybe. So again, I'm watching these rounds, I'm scouting. Once again, I'm like, I think I need to be positioned to hit that spotlight, so there we go. We're going to do that. I've also put the Trap Claw on Victor. Normally you would, and look at this, we managed to shroud the Aurelia once again. So again, I'm doing the best I can to stop these Aurelias from getting resets. Renata also getting off a really nice use of her ability. She's putting that attack speed debuff on like the entire enemy team. Victor is going to cast. We still haven't killed the Aurelia, but oh, there she goes. Finally, she falls. And that's going to be enough for us to win another round here. And that was on the player who was win streaking, but we've managed to counter the Aurelia that they were playing through. Bramble Vest plus Shroud. Best I can do. So I'm just crossing my fingers, hoping for the Victor at 4% odds to pop up here. Victor 2-star is what will make my board, and that's what's going to make me really strong here. A note on the Trap Claw. So Trap Claw, a good item to get. I put it on Victor, who normally you would not put an item like Trap Claw on, because remember, the units that don't have items are getting makeshift armor and meditation. So I want Victor to hold this item because I want him to be itemized. I want him to be itemized, and I want Oriana not to be itemized. All right, once again, I shift over to the left-hand side. I saw that I could potentially be hitting this built different player, the one who's running Warwick, and it turns out working out again because I'm going to have Ari away from the Warwick. Again, Ari needs time to ramp up in these fights, and it looks like we're going to get that. So if there's one piece of good news, it's that Warwick with Built Different and Rageblade and RFC, he just hits the attack speed cap pretty quickly. So this is actually not the best itemization on Warwick. And by the way, look how close that round was. Yeah, that person overstacked attack speed. They had Rageblade, they had Featherweights, they had Built Different. Warwick just hits the attack speed cap almost immediately, and then his items are just kind of worthless. If he had a Quicksilver Sash, he would have been in a much stronger position. Even if he had something like Static Shiv to debuff magic resistance, that also probably would have been better. But like, I really don't think he needed the RFC. Rageblade alone was more than sufficient to get him ramped up. He also would have done well to put Titans on his build. That's another really good Warwick item. All right, so once again, I'm trying to position. I want to be Ari on right-hand side, Morg left-hand side. And it turns out that I actually missed the Shroud. It's gonna, I was positioning for the other team comp, but I've actually ended up hitting the person who is running the binary airdrop. So they have a 2-star Victor, and I was like, oh, can I kill the Victor before he goes off? I actually do, but unfortunately there's a 3-star Vex, and Ari does end up dying, so I was like, ah, man, end up losing. I guess I didn't manage to kill the Victor before he went off, because it looks like my whole team died to Victor. All right, anyway, so I'm actually down to top 2. It's just me and this other player now. So I was like, all right, let's go ahead and take something for Victor. I'm going to go ahead and take this. Chalice. And again, I'll put it on Victor. This will finish his itemization. I wish that there had been a Victor on Carousel. There was not, so I was not able to get a 2-star Victor. But I think that this is actually a pretty good setup here. So remember, I'm getting full makeshift armor value and full meditation value on all my other units. The only ones with items are Morg and Ari, and Victor. But I actually think I can beat this board because I've got the Shroud. I think if I can Shroud the Victor and get my Victor to go off first, I think I can probably win this fight. And this person has not been repositioning. So I was like, all right, at the last second, I'm going to reposition Morg. There we go. But oh, I make a mistake. Morg needs to be one tile further to the right. She does not hit the Victor. And look at this. They rolled a binary airdrop Shroud. I was like, what? Victor rolls a binary airdrop Shroud that hits my whole team. Oh, come on. You've got to be kidding me. That's ridiculous. So instead of my Victor going off first, we go off simultaneously, and that's a loss. And I was like, oh, really? Are you really kidding me? Come on. So, yep, a slight mispositioning of Morgana and the fact that that person rolls a binary airdrop Shroud that hits my whole team is enough to win the fight. Now, to be fair, I don't know if I win that fight anyway, but I think I actually had a legit chance to beat them, even though their board was a lot better because my positioning, I think, was better in the fight. But yeah, wasn't quite able to put it together. That person was vastly richer than me. They were level 9. They'd been level 9 for ages, but whatever. I think I did a good job of making do of what I was given in this game and playing around the AFK opener. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time, have a great week, and I'll see you again soon.